Do you want to live a future in which you are strong and capable and vibrant? Well, then we need to get started. Today we're going to be talking about how to start going to the gym, if that's the way that you choose to do your exercise, and why you should. So let's break that down. And of course, we're going to be talking about the Beginner Gym Guide, which is a free resource I have. You'll find the link in the description here. Check that out, or just head to the strongforlife.online website and you'll find that on the top bar. So welcome to Strong for Life podcast. This podcast we shoot every Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. And I'm down here in Hobart, Tasmania, and my name's Coach Josh. And thanks for tuning in. If you're catching this live, we stream live through YouTube and on the Become Strong for Life Facebook group. Always great to see you folks who are catching it live. If you're catching this on the various podcast streaming platforms, whether it's Spotify, Apple, or YouTube, please take a moment to rate and review and send in any questions you might have. I know I keep talking about it, but I do need to do another question and answer episode to cover a few of these things. But if you got any questions, got any thoughts, please share them. Please share the show with your friends and your family. Show it to your grandma. Let's just get the word around that you can become strong for life. And if you're tuning in for the first time, this is a podcast designed for busy parents and busy professionals, people who are time poor and just need some quick answers, because we all know the internet's saturated. There's so much information out there. So much information, and it's so hard to figure out what's what and what's right and what's going to be useful to you, because what might be useful to you might not be useful to someone else. So I try to break everything down as simply as possible, give you some things to think about, maybe give you a bit of homework, and keep it short. Each episode's under 20 minutes. To the best of my ability, I try to keep it that way. All right, couple announcements. May 11th, if you are here in Hobart, Tasmania, I will be speaking at TEDx Hobart. So I'll be giving a TED Talk on how to eat like an adult. If you haven't listened to my previous podcasts on that topic or gotten your Eat Like an Adult guide, please check that out. That talk is going to be big. It's going to be covering a lot of things that a lot of people need to hear in a very short amount of time. So if you're in town, come check out. It's a whole day event. TEDx is massive. I didn't realize until I had my application accepted that this is a whole day thing. There's over 10 speakers. There's performers, all sorts of stuff, audience interaction. It's going to be cool. What else do I have for announcements? So we've got a few secret projects in the works. I've got 2 big ones that are going to be hopefully wrapped up in the next couple months, so stay tuned. And then we are planning our next group challenge in the Become Strong for Life Facebook group, so please check that out. It's probably going to be in April, and it's going to be a little bit different from the previous ones, a little bit more action-oriented. So if you like a challenge, we hold these over 7 days. They are held within the Facebook group, and of course there's going to be prizes. We all love prizes. So join the group, Become Strong for Life, on Facebook. You'll find the link in the description here, or you can just search it on Facebook. Join in, have some fun with us. Right. Let's get into the meat of it. So you're always going to be a work in progress. There's no finishing line. There's no stopping point. And if you want to see progress, if you don't want to be sitting in the same spot you are right now and you want to be somewhere else or be a different person or have different capabilities this time next year, you have to get started. Get started and understand that perfection doesn't exist and that you're going to always be a work in progress. But if you start working, you will see progress. And if you stay consistent, you'll always see progress. And that's the best thing. I've talked about this, I think, maybe 2 weeks ago. The one thing that most people are lacking in their health and fitness routines is consistency. No one sticks with something. Now, I don't want to get off on that tangent too much, but I do want to talk about getting into the gym. Now, if you're watching the video, you can see I have some rings hanging from my ceiling here. I do most of my work in this office here these days. I have a garage gym, but right now my current focus is on gymnastic style movements. My background's in powerlifting. I've done strongman. I've done, combat sports. I've trained and performed and competed in a lot of domains. I've worked with a lot of different styles of training. It doesn't matter what style of training you choose. What matters is that you choose something that you can do forever or for as long as you need to, and then switch to another style like I do. But you have to move. You have to find something enjoyable or at least rewarding enough that you can keep doing it. And I honestly find the gym, I know a lot of people are scared of the gym, but the gym is one of the most useful resources you can have in your arsenal. It's a space that's just designed for people trying to make their lives better and move more and become stronger and more capable and like what they see when they look at themselves in the mirror. We all want to look good naked. No one is sitting there going, geez, I wish I didn't look so good naked. It's not a thing. The gym is that place where we go to work on those things. It's also a place outside of our normal two places. You've got work and you've got home. And if you're a stay-at-home parent, you've got home and you've got home. Having a space outside of your normal two primary places makes it easier to find time and energy and space to do the things you need to do. The gym is great, but there's a lot of misconceptions about the gym. And I want to kind of cover a few of those and then go through a little bit of the beginner gym guide to kind of explain the outline, because it's too big of a document, too big of a resource to go through in this one episode, but just go check it out on the website. It's free. It outlines everything about how you get started. Let's talk about some misconceptions first. The strangest one I hear, when people are like, oh, I can't go to the gym, I don't want to go to the gym. One of the weirdest ones I hear is, I need to get fitter before I go to the gym. If you're catching this on audio, I'm blinking slowly in disbelief. That is a wildly strange thing to hear. Before I go to the place that I use to get in shape, I need to be in better shape. No, you don't. That's absolute nonsense, craziness, balderdash. Like, it just, no, you're just looking for an excuse. You're uncomfortable, and that's fine. You can be uncomfortable, but you have to get started. If you want to build a home gym, fine. But let's talk about external gyms. You don't need to be fit to go to the gym. You go to the gym to get fit. And the people that are there that look really fit is because they went there and started getting fit. This excuse does not fly with me. Just go. There's a 24-hour gym or a big box gym in almost every major city and small town these days. You do not need to be fit to go to the gym. You go to the gym to get fit. Now, reasons that people often use to avoid the gym that make more sense are things like, I don't know what to do, or I don't know where to start. Yeah, that's fair. Walking into a space like a gym and not knowing what to do, who to talk to, how to get help, how do all these contraptions work? That's reasonable. That makes sense to me. It's like, yeah, okay. You don't want to get hurt. You don't want to walk around looking like an idiot. So let's walk through that. So if we're just looking at, what's on the beginner gym guide? Where do we start? Where does a beginner who's never been to a gym before start? You need to figure out why you're going in the first place. Now, this sort of seems simple, but it really isn't. When working with my clients, before I even take someone on board, because there's a bit of an application process, we go through your why, understanding what it is that you really want to achieve. If someone's just like, I just want to get fitter, I'm not going to be able to help you because you can't help yourself. You won't be able to stick with anything because that doesn't make sense. So you need to first and foremost dig into why it's important to you. Create a SMART goal, a goal that is time bound and specific and measurable. If you can't measure your goal, It's not real. And I see this all the time. And I've always dug into this with my clients because we need to have these details. If someone says fitter, what does fitter mean to you? Let's backtrack that and say, where in your life do you not feel fit? And it's usually something like, honestly, there's a lot of stairs at the office and I'm always winded. Or, I just feel slow and tired and weak when I'm playing with my kids. I feel embarrassed to go to the playground with my kids. I don't like how I fit into my suits at work or my work clothes. Okay. All right. Now we're dealing with something specific. How do we get those suits to fit better? How do we make your work clothes fit better for you? How do we make it so you're not out of breath walking up the stairs? Okay, great. How long has this been an issue for you? When do we need to achieve that by? Those are important goal-setting tasks that we have to cover. And then we go, why is that important? What's it matter if you're out of breath walking up the stairs at the office? You only have to do it a little bit. You can be out of breath a few times. Who cares if your clothes don't make you feel comfortable? Well, the answer to that question is your why. Why is it important? If you're working in an office and you're a leader of some sort, manager, a CEO, whatever boss title, you are in a public facing job and people look to you. You're a role model, same as being a parent. And how you present yourself to the world says a lot about you. And people do judge on that. Maybe you want to present differently to the world. That's powerful. Maybe you want to present differently to your children. Maybe you just want to feel like you can handle all of life's challenges and stresses. Those are good whys, and we can break that down in much more detail if we're doing this one-on-one. The next step you need to have is find a gym. That's the easy part. What gyms are nearby? What's nearby and what's affordable? Okay, cool. Go to that one, check it out. Now, there is a little bit of a disclaimer here. We do need to have a little bit of a understanding of where our health is at. If you have a chronic illness or injuries, or you are very obese, these are things that might make you more intolerant to exercise, and we have to be very mindful that if you're working with a medical practitioner, you do talk to them about starting up a new training routine, because it might actually be best for you just to start with something like walking and looking at your food. As much as I'd like to get more people in the gym, it might not be the best first step. So do be aware of your current health issues and just be mindful that if you're working with a medical practitioner, you talk to them before starting something new. So once you've found a gym and you're sure you can undertake a routine healthily, get some gear together. Have some dedicated gym clothes. Doesn't have to be anything fancy. I used to run a massage clinic at a personal training studio in Melbourne. And the owner of that studio was Craig Harper's Personal Training. He's the guy who ran the first PT studio in Australia. So he's been around a long time. Pretty big name in the industry. He'd work out in a pair of cargo shorts and a flannel shirt all the time. I do that in the winter. Not cargo shorts. I like my shorts short. But a nice flannel, maybe a pair of boots, no worries. Doesn't have to be anything fancy, but have like a uniform. Something you put on that means you're there to do some work and you're going to sweat in it. And once you've gathered your resources, you got a water bottle, maybe a protein shaker, and those protein shakers are usually free. If you go to a supplement shop, buy a jar of protein, ask them for a shaker. They're usually throwing it. So you've got your uniform, you've got your hydration stuff. Now you need a plan. There are so many plans, and you know what the best plan is? It's the one that you do. It doesn't have to be fancy. You don't need to buy one of my programs. You don't necessarily need a one-on-one coach. You will be more successful with a one-on-one coach. But just getting started, you don't have to have one. You just need a plan that you understand and can stick with. You can just Google beginner gym plans if you want. I've got a number of programs on my website. I've even got a build your own workout infographic. So a little cheat sheet on how to put together a basic training program. It'll work for most people. Something. Find something. Find a plan. Find a plan that makes sense. Make sure you understand the movements. Watch all the videos. Make sure you're comfortable with them and go for it. Alternatively, book an induction at the gym. Almost every gym has an induction process where you can have someone show you around, and they usually throw in some really cheap or really free personal training sessions. Take advantage of that. Having someone who's at that gym, who knows the space, who knows what they're doing, that's going to be important. And having someone to show you around and explain the equipment is going to help you feel a lot more confident in that space. So either get yourself a plan and make sure you understand it, or simultaneously book that induction, get a tour of the gym, and see what intro prices they have. Now, you do have to be mindful. Sometimes hiring a PT from a big box gym doesn't set you up to do anything on your own. They just thrash you in a couple 30-minute workouts and say good job and send you home. If you want that kind of support, great. If you want to be more autonomous, being able to do it yourself, understanding why you're doing things, get them to run you through the process, why you're doing certain things, and try some stuff on your own. Get out there, try the equipment, learn some exercises, follow a plan on your own if you like, or get a PT to do it. But make sure that you're learning how everything works, because that will set you up for better success in the future. Find a plan. And if you can, get a gym buddy. Go with someone. This is a social environment. You don't have to necessarily hire someone, but having someone to go with you will keep you both accountable. You need to have someone to be accountable to. You need to have someone who is depending on you, or you're depending on them to get the work done, because when things are tough and you're tired and you're grumpy and you're feeling lazy, you still get the work done. Because sometimes it's easier to do the work, not when it can disappoint us, but when it could disappoint someone else if we miss our session. So gym buddy is great. And part of that social aspect is enjoying the process. I'm not going to lie to you. When you start going to the gym, you're going to feel pain. You're going to feel kind of shitty because you're doing something difficult. You're doing something difficult. You're making your body do things it's not used to doing. And then you're going to feel it for a couple days after. And that's okay, because that starts adding context to your life. Now, it's going to get easier. It's going to get easier. You're going to get more comfortable with that particular brand of suffering. But it also ends up being most people's most difficult thing they do. If you obliterate yourself with a good leg session, and you go and you work hard multiple times a week, 2, 3, 4 times a week at the gym, other things start to feel a lot easier. You're sitting down to do your accounting, or you're sitting down to do life admin, you're like, oh, this is awful. But hey, I'm not physically in pain. There's nothing heavy for me to pick up here. I can deal with this. You have to make your life hard in some instances to make everything else feel easier. And that's what I call contextualizing your life. Things could be worse. If you're involved with combat sports and you work a desk job, desk jobs, man, they're hard. But at least no one's punching you in the face. It's context. Could be worse. And by choosing to do those difficult things, not only do you make everything else easier, but the difficult things also over time become easier. And you become more and more capable. And if you're pushing yourself in the gym, the playground isn't so hard. The steps at the office aren't so hard. And then you start to notice, not only are you feeling better, but you're looking better. You got more confidence, got better energy. You're starting to make better food choices. Like, it all comes together. So that's a good intro on how to just get in the door and set yourself up for success. There's a lot more information on the Beginner Gym Guide. Just head to the website, check it out. And if you got any questions, hit me up. But if you haven't been to the gym yet, or you've been putting it off, just start the process. That's your homework this week. Start the process, get out there, and start doing your research. Get a plan, talk to your local gym, and just get on it. You're always going to be a work in progress, but if you're not doing the work, there's no progress. All right, folks. We'll see you next week.